Hello, my dear students of class 9. Hema, Yukta, Vaishnavi, Sanjana, Rohit, Vedansh, Sayam, and Dev. Alright? Well, welcome to the online class for today. All of you know me. My name is Pravin, and I've been your class teacher last year. Alright? Well, I am going to continue teaching English for you this academic year. But before we begin, I hope and pray that you are all safe and secure during this pandemic, following the required social distancing norms laid out by the government, washing your hands regularly. The whole world, humanity is affected because of this pandemic. So it is important that you stay safe. But for your convenience, Sri Sarvagna Public School has started online classes for you, where all you have to do is just sit at home, watch a few videos on YouTube, and learn English or any other subject. How easy is that? Alright? Well, what we're going to be doing today is the very first lesson in your English textbook, your English textbook for this year. It's one of them. It's called Beehive. Alright, and we'll be doing the first lesson from your textbook. But before we actually get down to the reading of the lesson and me explaining the lesson to you, I have gone through the lesson beforehand, and I have made a list of a few words which I thought were difficult. Alright, but what I want you to do at home is, in our WhatsApp group, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a link so that even if you don't have the textbook, you could download a copy of it from the NCERT website. I'll send you the link before the lesson begins, and you can go ahead and follow as and when the lessons are being done. But what I want you to do now is take out a book and take out a pen and write down the difficult words that I'm going to explain to you. I will give you the meanings for these words so that when we actually do the reading of the lesson, it will make more sense to you. The lesson will make more sense to you. The first lesson is The Fun They Had by an author called Isaac Asimov. I hope you can see that. Isaac Asimov, alright? It's a really beautiful lesson. It's a lesson that is set in the future and how students or children like you will be taught in the future. Alright, we are used to going to a classroom, sitting down on benches and looking at the teacher write on the green board or the blackboard and explain things to you. But in the future, how will you be taught? Just like how we are learning by having online classes and you're sitting at home and learning, this is a way where students learn in the future. It's a really interesting story. Before we get down to the actual reading, let's go ahead and read the difficult words that I have penned down. And if you have any other difficult words or sentences or phrases that you don't understand, make sure you underline them and we will go ahead and discuss this in further sessions. But today's session is just about learning new words and learning the meaning so that when we do the actual reading of the lesson, it will make sense to you. Sounds exciting? Let's begin. Right? This is your first lesson from the Beehive textbook, which is The Fun They Had. The first word that we got, that I have written down, is crinkly. Listen to the way I pronounce the words as well, and try to repeat after me. Alright? And make sure you pronounce it closest to how I am pronouncing the word and where I am, or which syllable I am stressing on. Right? The first word is crinkly. C-R-I-N-K-L-Y. Crinkly. Meaning with a lot of folds or lines, like wrinkles. Alright? It means with many folds or lines. Alright? Just like how wrinkles are. Like if you iron a shirt, you would generally see wrinkles if you move your hand up and down. It wouldn't be straight like how you ironed it, right? And that is with many folds or lines, alright? Crinkly. The next word is awful. A-W-F-U-L. Awful. It means very bad or something which is very unpleasant. Awful. Alright? The next word we got is scornful. I'll spell this out for you. S-C-O-R-N-F-U-L. Scornful. Scornful. Scornful means showing that you think something is really very worthless. If you see that something is not according to your mark or not according to your standard, when you see that something is really, really bad and worthless, the feeling that you show to make that other person feel worthless is called being scornful. Alright? The next one are two words, county inspector. Who is a county inspector? An inspector is a person who inspects things. He can be a police inspector. He can be a health inspector. So there are many kinds of inspectors. So what is a county inspector? A county inspector, the term county, alright, is like an area. Alright, so just like in Bangalore, we live in a city called Bangalore, which is in a state called Karnataka. And within the city of Bangalore, we have many areas like Indiranagar, like Koramangala, like Vijayanagar, like Nagarbavi. Alright, so there are many areas within the city of Bangalore. And in the West, or in places like America or places which are in Europe, they generally have, for these small areas like how we have Vijayanagar and Koramangala, they call that a county. Alright, so the area is called a county, and the person who inspects the area or the county is a county inspector. Alright, I hope you've understood that. Let's move on with the next word. Alright, the next word is slot. I'll spell this for you, S-L-O-T. What is a slot? I'm sure you've heard of a slot machine. A slot is a given space or position, like when you go to an ATM. Alright, when you go to an ATM, you have your card in your hand, and there is a place where you insert the card. Alright, now that place where the card is inserted, or the given space or position where the card is inserted, is called a slot. Understood? Let's move on to the next word. The next words are punch code. P-U-N-C-H-C-O-D-E. Punch code. A punched card or a punch card is a piece of stiff paper. A piece of stiff paper, just like a credit card. Alright? Just like a credit card or a debit card. So it's a piece of stiff paper that can be used to contain digitally represented data. Alright? So there can be data on it. Like if you've seen a smart card, alright, nowadays credit cards or debit cards, they have a small little chip on it. Alright, that is a smart card, alright, and it has a little bit of data in it. It has information with regard to what is your right PIN number, your bank account number, your the amount of money that you have on your bank, which is how it gets displayed on the ATM screen when you go there. Alright, so a punch code is similar to having data on it. Alright, but this is represented by the presence or absence. Alright, so it can have or cannot have holes in predefined position. Just like to give you an example, when you write objective type question and answers, alright, so if you have an objective type answering, alright, you'll have 4 little dots and you'll have 4 selections where you can choose from A, B, C, D, right? So if you choose the right answer, either A, B, C, D, there are small little holes, and if by chance you happen to take those holes and feed it into a machine that is able to read it, they can easily figure out where you have marked your answers in the objective type question, right? So that is a punch code, a code which generally has some kind of data or represents some kind of data or information that you need. A punch code, right? The next one, the next word is attic. A-T-T-I-C. Attic. An attic is the space in a house just below the roof. I'm going to draw this for you. Say if this is the house, this part over here, alright, is known as the attic. It is usually used as a storeroom, okay, for people to store things that they no longer use in their home. But this topmost part of a house, let's show you again here, is called an attic, right? Let's move along. Geared to. G-E-A-R-E-D, geared to. Alright, geared to meaning adjusted to a particular standard or a particular level. Geared to a particular level or adjusted to a particular level. Understood? Let's move on with the next word. Loftily. L-O-F-T-I-L-Y. Loftily. Loftily means in a superior kind of a way. Alright? It's a very superior kind of a feeling. Alright, I have a lofty feeling. I'm just going to walk around. I got 100 out of 100 in my maths test. I'm going to be very lofty and I'm going to be walking around like this. That is called lofty. Alright? The next word is, listen to the way I pronounce it, betcha. Alright, I'm going to say it again. Betcha. B-E-T-C-H-A. Betcha. Betcha meaning, like I told you, or I bet you becomes betcha. It's just a fast way of saying it. Okay? The next word that we have here is dispute. D-I-S-P-U-T-E. Dispute. A dispute is when you disagree with something, alright? You disagree with something and you're not okay with it and you disagree with it, and that would become a dispute. The next word is noncurrently. I'll repeat that. Non-currently. 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 I'll spell it out. N-O-N-C-H-A-L-A-N-T-L-Y. Non-currently. Non-currently. Non-currently means showing not much of interest or enthusiasm to do something. Non-currently, I non-currently did my homework, meaning I showed not much of interest or not much of enthusiasm in doing my homework, alright? Well, sorry. These are a set of words that I thought were difficult and needed to be explained to you in detail so that in the following sessions that we do, when we read the actual lesson and when I'm explaining the lesson to you, if you know the meanings of these words, it becomes a lot more easier for you to understand the lesson, which is why I thought it was important to write these words and discuss them with you before I could read the actual lesson, which is the very first lesson, the fun they had. It is more on the lines of how we are doing classes today, how we are having online classes during this pandemic. Alright, it's more on the lines of that, sitting at home, trying to study, and the problems one may face studying at home, you know, the distractions that you may have. But this lesson, the fun they have, is a story that is set in the future. Alright? So I'm sure you must have heard about things like virtual classrooms. Alright, what is a virtual classroom? I'm going to write this down for you. Virtual, V-I-R-T-U-A-L. What is a virtual classroom? A classroom where, unlike coming to school and sitting on a bench and the teacher teaching you face to face, when you sit in front of a computer in your room and are part of a teaching session with many other students present, just like how you are watching this video and learning at home, that would become a virtual classroom where you would be able to interact. We are able to interact through WhatsApp. You're watching videos on YouTube, alright, and you are still learning. This becomes something like a virtual classroom. A robotic teacher. I want to tell you these few terms before we begin the lesson. A robotic teacher. Who is a robotic teacher? A teacher who is a robot. A robot who has all the information within him or in their CPU or memory bank, wherever it is stored. Alright, this robotic teacher is a robot who teaches you, be it any subject that you please. Alright, you want to study geography, go to your robot teacher and you study geography that way. I'm going to show you a picture of this so that it makes more sense to you. Alright, this one here looks like a robot. Alright, this is a robotic teacher. Alright, and I need to tell you another phrase that I think is important. Moving e-text. Alright, so if you see this here, alright, you have moving e-text and a computer next to it. The reason why there's a computer next to it is because on the computer screen there will be text, just like how there is in your textbook, but this will be moving e-text, meaning moving electronic text. So it is something that's online. It will continuously keep moving, and all you need to do is don't even have to turn the page. Imagine when you're reading from a textbook, you turn the page and you read after you finished each page. But in moving e-text, all you have to do is just continuously keep reading, and the text will be moving from left to right and left to right, and all you have to do is just continue to read. What in case you get distracted, then all you have to do is press stop. It will stop moving, and then you can do whatever you have to do, and then continue reading or learning. Learning through computers, alright? This is what we are also doing right now. Learning through computers. You're sitting maybe in front of your computer, maybe on your smartphone, alright? So this is how we are learning nowadays. I've told you what a virtual classroom is. These are schools of the future. This is how this person, Isaac Asimov, has imagined a school to be like in the future. It's a really, really wonderful story. The fun they had, it has something to do with the current situation and the current learning methodology that we are following. Let's go ahead and learn this or study this in detail in the following sessions. But for today, I want you to write down as homework, I want you to write down in a notebook which I have told you to keep for English. I want you to write down these words and their meanings as I have explained them to you. And I also want you to read the lesson and underline words that you may find difficult or sentences that you do not understand. And when the lesson is read and explained in the next session, you can go ahead and discuss them, or I will have them explain. I will explain them to you. Well, I hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.